Little setup right now. I'm gonna be working with some of these oil pastels here. These Paul Rubens oil pastels. I've been looking forward to finally working with these a little bit more seriously, and I have a few other brands as well. These are my new ones, but I'm also gonna be working with some Sennelier as well as the Van Gogh brand, of course. So just getting a little couple things set up right now. I thought I'd name this stream something to do with crayons because I did a drawing, uh, a pastel sketch for a group of workers recently, some coworkers, and I did it for them, and it was unexpected. I was just sketching, and then they saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, you can have it. Um, I thought it was funny because they initially said, "Oh wow, so these crayons," and I wasn't offended or anything, but initially I was like, "Crayons? Like, would an adult actually use crayons?" I felt myself like defending myself as if using crayons was something that an adult wouldn't do, or whatever. I felt like I had to defend myself for whatever reason, but not in like an offended way. Just kind of like, oh no, this is sophisticated. But at the end of the day, then I realized like the futility in, or not the futility, but I thought to myself like, there's nothing wrong with using crayons. Like, why am I even defending this? Um, so I thought that was like an amusing observation. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using crayons. So I got four different color pastel things here. I haven't come up with a case for these yet, so I'll just set them on top of my setting here and go ahead and use them. Um, but I got quite a setup here. So so I want to organize these a little better. I want to first of all get rid of this white this piece right here. But I came to this realization that I'm like, why am I even? I felt defensive. Why did I feel defensive about someone thinking I was just using crayons? Like, there's nothing wrong with crayons, and I decided to title this "Working with Crayons." But if essentially, like from like 10 feet away, this may as well be a crayon, right? Like, you can't tell the difference between this and a crayon if I'm drawing. This is only like 4 feet away. Like, imagine someone just sitting there doing something. So anyway, that's the basis of this. Whether I'm using crayons or oil pastels, I don't think it matters as long as you get the color and the things that you want. And something that I'm doing a little differently for creative purposes here is, so I have this window popped up on my computer here, right in front of me, and it is a random image generator. So I'm just gonna flip images like however often, and we're just gonna go from there, and we're just gonna work with them. So here's what I've discovered working with oil pastels. Not for very long. I'm not like super oil pastel artist or whatever, world-renowned oil pastel artist, but I've definitely found a huge quality difference, easily noticeable, distinct quality difference between the more student wholesale grade that you can still use professionally, grade oil pastels, and the higher end artist quality pastels that I have over here, like Sennelier and Paul Rubens. You can definitely tell that there's like a texture quality. So let me just pull out one of these two, and maybe you can see the difference. Like, this looks a little bit wetter. You can tell that there's a little bit more of a sheen to the higher quality oil pastels. I think it's there's a bit more of like a matte to the less high end, the fine quality rather than the artist professional quality. That's a good word, right? Fine quality versus extra professional. Because I don't like using the term student grade, whatever. Like, fine quality and an extra professional quality. Like, you can actually see a difference in the actual piece itself. You know, like the fine quality brands have like a matte look to them, and then the really professional artist quality have like the sheen. You can see it. Like, interesting enough, you can actually see it in this lighting. You can see that there's like I don't know if it's because of the shape or whatever, but there's like this glow, right? Like there's a subtle glow versus the matte finish. Even this lighting is not ideal. Let me see if I can turn on another light here and give a better view. Does that help a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. So anyway, we got a question from Northern Falcon. Oil pastels, can they get messy? You know, they can. They definitely get all over your hands and stuff. But I mean, I guess, yeah, even compared to crayons. Now that I think of it, crayons don't really come off on your hands as easily, I guess. Um, so yeah, they could definitely get really messy. But at the end of the day, um, I think there's very few mediums that don't get messy. Like even with ink, I get a ton on my hand, or like pencil. You could get like graphite. So I guess like depending on what you mean by real messy, like, you know, not as bad as a child playing with paint, or finding the family paint bucket, but a little bit. You know what's great though is that you can get a lot of oil pastels on your hand, and all you just need is some baby wipes, and you can wipe them off pretty easily. They don't. The thing about oil pastels is also they don't dry. Like, it's supposedly they're wet for eternity. I haven't lived that long, so I don't know for sure how long forever is. It's usually people say they never dry, so I don't really know how long eternity is, but um, but for the most part, that's good if you don't want staining on your hands like ink or paint or what else is there? Ink, paint, marker. I'm trying to think of other material, any other materials. So with that said, a little, if you keep a few baby wipes on hand, this is like $1.49.99. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I think it's the 99 cent store. Because look at this, it says $1.49.99 up here, and obviously it's not 99 cents. It's $1.49. So let's get started. Let's just draw stuff. Yeah, I guess a child could get messy with anything, right? But let's see. What I found really great though about these fine quality as opposed to professional quality pastels, I think you can. Oh, see, there's the mess that you were talking about. If they break apart, they fall. So you just got to be careful not to shake it up like I just did. But anyways, what's great about these fine quality as opposed to artist professional quality oil pastels is that you can um, I think you can create like a base color with these real quickly, right? Like you just create these large. If you need to cover large areas and you're gonna draw over it to mix colors, you can do that with those. But let's get started. I have a random image already up, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play with these and just kind of like go pretty random and play. Let's see. So let's just start with. See where we go with this. I'm fairly new to oil pastel, so I get to just mess around a lot. And we're going to start with a base green at the bottom. A lot of green at the bottom. Oh, here's another thing. I have this on top of the surface where there's this like little arm thing here that I don't really like, but we'll work with it. So let's start with this. Let's see. Blending with pastels is pretty fun though. Yeah, I haven't gotten too into blending with pastels, but I do find like blending as in like, super good at mixing colors together. But it is different than like oil paint in that you get really close and personal with the colors, because with painting, right, you have a brush, and the painterly way to paint is to hold the brush at a distance. You're holding a brush, and you're holding it at a distance, right? That's the painterly way. I usually paint pretty close, except if I'm like looking for the big picture stuff. But when it comes to oil pastels, you get right up in there. You're holding it right in the center in the nib, otherwise it's gonna break. So that's one difference. as far as the funness, talking about your funness, Northern Falcon, is this idea that there is a funness to to getting so close, tight and close with your piece, and it feels lot. You need a lot more strength or endurance, like physical arm endurance to work with pastels, because I guess you could be gentle, but if you want to lay down lots of color with certain pastels, I guess like with the fine quality as opposed to the professional quality pastels, you have to push a little harder to get a lot more color off. That's the other thing. So, um, yeah, as far as quality goes, you can quickly tell that there's a difference with the different pastels that you use versus like paint. Sometimes it's not as easy to tell the quality of paint unless you work with it a lot and work with a lot of different paints. But as far as uh, as far as these go, um, you can really feel it in like how hard you have to press to get the certain effects that you might want. So I'm getting right up in here, really pushing this material. So Northern, what are you working on? I saw you. Are you gonna color that car that you 3D modeled, or are you still, or are you on to your next project already? And when are you gonna do a live stream? Yeah, I am making a field. How did you know? Because it's green. You know what? I should make this different color than green. I'm gonna add some other colors in a moment, but for now, just blending in these different areas. And actually, this is just the grassy area. I'm gonna do this is like an experimental stream where I'm gonna do random images. So I'm gonna paint one area and then I'm gonna go to another image and I'm gonna build from there. I'm gonna see where it takes me, and I'm gonna take different elements of different images and just work from there. And then we're gonna hopefully come up with something interesting by the end here. Yeah, when we're working with oil pastels, it can be really rough. But I highly recommend these Paul Rubens. I mean, maybe because I'm Chinese, that I feel like, when I find a high quality Chinese product, I feel the need to support it. Because, I've always, I've, I've, for most of my life, I've been under the impression that most Chinese products are, cheaply made. I mean, I don't think that's a stereotype. That's just a observation about products made in China. So when I do find a high quality Chinese product, I'm usually pretty surprised. And if you can actually tell the difference, I think it's worth it. Like I would never buy a helmet made in China unless it was from like a really reputable brand, like I don't know, Under Armour, and they made it in like they designed it here and they made it in China or something. But anyway, um, texturing of the car would take time, but you plan to do it after you properly learn materials. A live stream would be pretty fun. Probably don't have the time for it. Yeah, no, it's definitely time consuming. You definitely like if you're gonna live stream, I mean, it's also hard with digital art too, because you got to figure out how to like set up the stream on your computer and all that. So there's that, but it definitely takes a bit of time, and uh, fortunately, I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to take time to do live streams as well. But it's also like priority too, like do you want to do live streams? Like, there's really no point in live streaming if you're only going to do it once or twice. But if you can create like a long term vision of why you want to live stream, then it might end up being worth it. I do like the material of or the feeling of an oil pastel coming off. Like You can feel it. So mixing in a variety of colors here, getting in some blues. Let me throw in some of these fancy colors. We're gonna throw in bits of yellow here. This is called a feel softer, experience nicer. Yeah, that's right. These definitely feel much softer. Follow throughout the day. A live stream would be pretty fun. You already have a lot of interest that you follow. Yeah. So okay, cool. I was just looking at these books. So are you saying you study mathematics like because you want to get into that professionally, or what do you mean by that? Reason why I ask is because I was looking at these great books on Amazon, put them on my wish list for later when I could finally when I finally have some time to look at them. They were talking about like math and shapes in art, and it was really interesting because I looked at some of the designs and I was like, wow, these are some amazing designs here. Yeah, one thing I still haven't quite figured out with oil pastels is how to really make them blend and work. Because I think what happens is that I end up just picking up the color that's just below it. So I think what it is that you really have to learn how to separate and work in different areas rather than just blending on the surface. If that makes sense. Calculus. Yep, calculus is quite the subject. So I really hope you take it and solve some big problems with that. I'm sure you will. If you can figure out how to 3D model a automobile, I'm pretty sure you can figure out calculus. I might be wrong there, but I've been wrong before. Just not often, but once in a while I'm wrong, and I trust that you'll be able to figure that out. So one thing I do love about oil pastels, though, is you get a lot of effects. Uncontrolled, I guess they might be controlled, but you can get a lot of effects when you start to put all the colors together. And you start to build these layers of color. And here it is here it is so far. I mean, it's just a layer of grass, green and yellow and green. Nothing too notable yet. But I'm sure as we build and build, something will hopefully come of this. So let's see. You can probably do it given time. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You don't need luck. You don't need luck, sir. If you have hard work and talent, you don't need luck. If you don't have talent, you might need a little luck. And if you don't have hard work, you probably need luck. But confidence, too. I think that all adds together. A trifecta. How much luck do you need depends on how much confidence, talent, and effort you have. You used oil pastels as a kid and made some cool stuff with them. Oh. Alright. Yeah, so I never picked up oil pastels until I was an adult. But it's funny you said that you used them as a kid because I was just writing on Instagram how I was trying to defend my use of oil pastels when someone asked if they were crayons. And kids just as easily use oil pastels. There's not that much of a difference there. So I'm gonna go a little darker at the bottom here, and I want to find like a dark blue. I wonder if there's a way to like sharpen this. Maybe I should experiment with some other materials. So I do have a palette knife. So look at this. The company that I bought this from, Paul Rubens, came with some tape and a palette knife and a marker in here. And I don't know what these other pads are for, but yeah, I don't really know what all this stuff in here is for, but the palette knife could come in handy. So I'm going to pull that out. We're just going to push some of these, experiment with what's happening here. So let's take one of these colors. Let's take a dark blue from Cray-Pas. And what if we could like carve this out? I don't know how to exactly use this. So there we go. All right. Carving some stuff off. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. Trying to create a nice fine point here. It's an okay effect. I don't know if I'm gonna, actually I don't know. Let's see. Let's wipe it all off and just see what happens here. Not sure about this yet. I just don't want to I don't want to have too many little specks floating around here. So I'm gonna push this up a bit. Oh shoot. Let's see what's going on, Amir. So I finished my. Good news is I finished my my project. You weren't here for it. I think you were here that day earlier, but you had just left as I finished the pen project. So I did some reviews about it. Right now, I'm doing an oil pastel project, and I'm just filling in the bottom of this paper because I don't want it to be empty. So just going in here and filling in the bottom space. So how are you, Amir? What's going on? Up to anything new? Gotta clean up all the pastels that fell. I think sooner than later, I need to just get a box with all of these oil pastels in them. But I think that's the messy part, kind of like cards. Like, you have cards. Oil pastels can just fall and get lost. Like a pack of cards or whatever. So anyway, you said you came to say hi sometimes. Uni exams getting closer. All right. Well, what subjects? What subjects you working on? So let's go with a blue line here. Let's push a blue line straight down. Get up here in the top and you're approaching soon, Ashley. You just work during the day and hop on the live stream at night if it's active. At night? What city are you in? Northern? Or like what are you in, like Australia? Yeah, definitely thanks for stopping by though. Good to have some updates. All right. Okay, India, cool. 1140. Yeah, get those exams. Get those exams done. This way you don't have to be an artist. Study hard so you don't have to be an artist. Just kidding. Let's see. Probably making you realize you should probably study. Yeah, hey, take care. Study. You don't have to. Don't worry about me. It's just great to be able to hear some updates. Nice to stay up to date with what's going on in the world, you know? I use my left hand. My right hand's getting tired. Thing about pastels, it's a very arm intensive medium. So, what are the cons of being an artist? The startup risks. You know, it's like everybody has different personalities, but like the risk of starting up as an artist, right? There's a ton of risk there because you always have to worry about what you have to consider, what sacrifices you need to make, right? There's a lot of risks you got to take. Like, oh, you have to make career choices. I don't know. You said you're in school. I don't know, like if you're in like 10th grade or fourth grade, or I mean, I'm assuming if you're studying calculus, you're probably near the end of high school or mid college. But yeah, it's cons of being an artist. I mean, lifestyle wise, those are the best benefits of being an artist, right? Lifestyle wise. But there's definitely cons. Like, if you're the type of person that wants to have children, wants to raise a family, and like, have them take them to college by the time you're 30, I guess that wouldn't work out. Let me do some math here. So if you want to like have your kids and they're out of the house by the time like you're 45, and you want to buy a house and all those things, if you dream of all those things, then an artist's life probably is not for you unless you're able to make a name for yourself very quickly. But um, but if you want to live the lifestyle of an artist, you've thought about it, you've thought it through, and you like the idea that it's a more free spirited activity, and you're entrepreneurial, then definitely it'll appeal to you. Like if you can consider the fact that you got to be entrepreneurial, you got to go out and set your own schedules, because no one's gonna tell an artist like, hey, today's the day to paint, unless like you're working with an agent or whatever, and they need like a new painting for an event. But very few people are gonna be like, hey, artist, now's the time to go do some drawing. Hey, artist, like, you know the world wants a new piece of work from you. Can you make up something right now? Nobody says that. You really got to have that like self drive. So if you feel more self-driven, then that's great. But at the same time, if you just want, met a girl recently. We were talking about career and art, and I was like, oh, so you don't want to. Do you feel creative or something like that? I don't remember what the conversation was. But she was saying, she's like, I'm not creative at all. And then I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was trying to motivate her. I was trying to be like, oh, well, you don't want to write anything. You've never wanted to write anything. You don't want to design anything. You don't have any ideas. And she's like, no. And I don't think she was being honest. I think she was just trying to keep her ideas to herself. But she essentially said, really what I want to do is I just want to have a regular job, 9 to 5, and do these things, and just do random stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, different personalities, different strokes for different folks. The 12th grade, still do it as a hobby, right? You definitely can. In fact, it's good to turn. Right, yeah, definitely. You definitely do it as a hobby. And you know what? I think today there's more careers than ever for artists. It also depends on the type of artist you want to be, right? There's fine artists who. So this is coming. What I was just said was coming from a perspective uh, of a fine artist, where your career depends on your work and your output, versus if you're drawing for an animation company or something like that. It's totally different. There's tons of careers out there. So tons of options, for sure. There's a lot more opportunities today than ever. But it's not without its risks, because the majority of art jobs are pretty much contract jobs. And hey, with AI coming out, AI art, we were talking about this the other day. I don't know if it was Amir or you, Northern, that asked me, but you know what? With AI art coming out, I really think that the work for digital artists are going to decline over the next 10, 15 years. I mean, we're still going to need them, but I think there's going to be some challenges there. And heck, maybe even fine artists, right? You never know. Any artist. But yeah, 3D modeling, that for sure. I think that's going to be much harder of a field for AI to break into, especially because you need to program it for video games and TV and all those things. So many ways to go about it. So just the everyday digital artist who does sketches is gonna have a hard time. But yeah, I definitely think what you're doing is gonna be great. So you're not a big fan of AI. Can you tell us about that? Why you're not a big fan of AI? I mean, for now, I think 3D modeling is safe. But give it another 20 years, and what's happening for digital artists now is going to be happening for AI artists, probably. So, I mean, 3D artists. I don't wish it, but I can definitely see it becoming a thing. Okay. Yeah. It's fine. You can talk. This is a live stream. You can talk and stuff. Not doing anything too serious. It's always serious. Art is serious, everybody.
You're serious.
Art serious. So let's see where we go with this. Yeah, a lot of time before it replaces humans. But I watched this great movie last night. What was it? Oh yeah, it was Rebel Moon. I was watching Rebel Moon the other day, and what I thought was really interesting is, and this is basically about the topic of underestimating things. There's Rebel Moon. I recommend it for anybody who likes sci-fi and even fantasy. But it's a movie that's out right now. What I thought was so interesting was basically this massive military floating in the sky. I don't want to spoil it too much, but this is basically the premise of the entire thing, so I'm not spoiling it. Was going to attack a... If you don't like spoilers, cover your ears. I don't think this is honestly truly a big spoiler. But basically, the commander of this army was planning to attack this little farming village, right? Like an army of thousands attacking a village of like 30 people. And they've got all the weapons, the tanks, the military, the flying ships and everything versus a little village. And what I thought was interesting was he didn't say, oh, let's go attack this full force, right? Let's just throw all our weapons and everything at it. The evil admiral, the evil commander goes, oh, they were very strategic. They were like, okay, well, they got people here. Let's send in this force, and then let's go around and do this other thing. And, so I thought that was really interesting because usually the evil commander is always like, hey, let's just attack them with everything we got. Don't leave a single trace of them. And that ends up being their flaw because usually what happens is they underestimate the force and then they lose, right? That's the typical story, but I was impressed that this movie didn't go that route. They went the route of, hey, let's be strategic here and make sure that, we don't underestimate these people. Not because the village was strong, but because there was like people involved that were dangerous. But I just thought that idea of like not underestimating what can possibly happen is a good thing, and to see that in a movie like that was pretty interesting. 70 years, is that what they said? So you're probably living up to 70 years. You're not even you're not even 20 years old yet. Yeah, I mean most people probably live till 90 in these upcoming generations, right? I think 90 is going to be the new 60 or 70. 90. Alexa, what is the average lifespan in Turkey?
The average life expectancy in Turkey is 76 years.
76 years. So guessing you'll probably do 20 more than 76. So you got 96. All right, and let's go with this. Let's throw some of these colors onto here. I'm gonna throw some of these fancy colors. I mean, here's the truth is that this is just my view, is that most people are average. So, what if you're not average? I don't know what to tell you. Like, most people are average. I mean, we like to believe we're not. We like to believe that we're extra special and talented and gifted and unique and, you know, wonderful. And I believe that. You know, I believe that that there's a lot of very gifted, talented people, and we all have special gifts and ways of doing things. But it's all in different areas, right? Like we might be talented in art, we might be talented in engineering, 3D, might be talented at whatever, but for the majority of people, we're average. So that's that. I don't know. Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, not anyone can be special, or the idea that maybe we are all special in some way, but you have to, like you said, you have to have a lot of motivation and will to really unleash it. And sadly, you know, maybe most people never find it. Babe, it doesn't need to be on while you go to use the bathroom.
I'm not using the bathroom. The ice needs to be chopped up.
It takes a second. It's a NutriBullet. Like, it works very quickly.
I did it once and it didn't.
That's the whole selling point of a NutriBullet.
Well, it didn't get all the ice.
Okay. Alright, so let's see how this yellow shows up on our black here.
Do it a little longer when you put ice.
So here you can instantly see some of the differences real quickly with how the fine quality oil pastels appear versus how the more professional quality oil pastels appear on a surface. So let me just do a little bit more coloring here. Alright, so let me just share a quick example here. This may not be the greatest example, but what the heck is this? Found a weird horn fall out. Okay, so anyway, as you'll see here, right? You can see an oil pastel mark here. And you can see that it kind of like mushes into it. It doesn't really lay on top of it. And that was with the fine art quality materials, or the fine oil pastels, fine quality oil pastels. But if you look at the more expensive artist, professional quality pastels, you can see that they'll sit on top of it. So you can see right here that it kind of like sits on top of the black. So rather than like kind of mushing in and, you know, having to like push it around, you could just layer on top of it, which is a really important feature of a oil pastel. So you got to decide, like, hey, you can use oil pastels that are fine quality for like the under layer, but you can't really use them to layer on top. And you know, those are some of the differences. But that's okay, nothing wrong with that. That's as long as you know the differences. And some people want to know, right? Like, you know, you're not going to be able to create really intricate designs because the oil pastels don't work the same. But, you know, if you can figure it out, you can make it happen. Yeah, Japan's lifespan is like 85. Yeah, I'll take some. I'll have some. Thanks. You want to see AI take over? You don't think anyone can? Yeah, Japan's lifespan is wild. Kat, what's the? Is it Linda Loma or Loma Vista that has the longest lifespan?
Loma Linda.
Alexa, what's the lifespan in Loma Linda?
The average life expectancy in the United States is 79 years.
Oh wow, it's only 79 years in America. But I said Loma Linda. So Loma Linda's this town in Southern California that's supposedly the healthiest town on the planet. And I think they have like a life expectancy of like 100 years. Average. They don't drink coffee. They don't drink. They're not because they're not allowed to have like certain types of food. They don't have alcohol in the town. Could you drop it right here, please? Thanks, babe. And here we go. So let's change up. Let's add a little bit more color to this. What color should we use? A little bit of blue. Let's go with a little bit of blue. Let's work with some blending here. Let's take these blenders and blend some of this space here. That's kind of cool. I like this effect that we're getting here. So what's the name of the bird? Hey, what's our bird's name? Sun or is it Moon?
Sun.
Sun. Our bird's name is Sun. I always forget because I think
Blue.
when we adopted it, we also got another bird named Moon. I think we named it Moon, and it flew away when my girlfriend was cleaning the cage one day. So I often get confused between the two. Plus, I also don't call it by its name. I just say bird. Like I had a snake, and I just called it snake. I didn't give it a name. And some people find this unusual, but I watched a movie recently where the character named its dog Dog. I don't remember who it was. I feel like it might have been John Wick, but maybe not.
Yes, it was.
It was John Wick?
Yes.
Yeah. So John Wick just called his dog Dog. I thought that was cool. Any John Wick fans? Alright, so here we go. Building up these textures and working around in our spaces here. So unironic, yeah. And we're gonna go build into these colors. So I guess it's nighttime. What's it like to go to school in Turkey? Do you have like uniforms? Do schools in Turkey have to deal with gangs? You have to deal with gangs in school? Is there a lot of sports? Do Turkish young Turkish students play lots of sports and things like that? Are sports even a big thing? Are they considered important? Or physical fitness, exercise, things like that? You just study? Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's all good. Nothing wrong with just studying. It's a part of life. So right now, working in certain colors here. Eventually going to create. I should probably use this gray. Just go in here. And we can layer on top of this gray. Football, you talking like American football or soccer? I guess you said you live in India, so it's probably like a global soccer or global football, because every other country on the planet calls soccer football. Yeah, America just has to be different. Good old global soccer. All right, so continuing on here, looking for, make a red. It's a good floor here. We're gonna go with a dark navy blue ground, and we're gonna go color it. Let's see, from here to here. Soccer. Yeah, soccer's a great sport. It's probably one of the best sports for like adults because it's low impact, but you also get a lot of cardio. I mean, maybe, best team sports. Because otherwise, I guess the other alternative, like other great sports, are swimming, but that's a solo sport. I mean, anybody can just run anyway, but just running's no fun. All right, so let's see what we've got going on here. I'm gonna add some color to this, and then I'll show what we've got so far. So let's see. Let's go with a little bit of a green. Let's go with some of our green here. Go green. And then we're gonna take this blue. Actually, we'll go with the darker olive green. I'm gonna color in the space around here. It's like a little muddy area. With the rest of this, we're gonna go with an orange. Let's add some orange on top of this. We'll layer some orange on. And what's the progress? Hold on, give me one second. Or actually give me like 95 seconds. And I'll be able to share some progress. Here. All right, so based on this project where I'm taking random images and just drawing pieces from random images, I don't know, what do y'all think? What is this? What do y'all thinking this looks like? Bunch of random images pieced together. Little comet falling into the ocean. It feels like something's missing, for sure. I definitely, something still feels missing. But maybe I will never find out what that is, that something is. Who knows? These Sennelier pastels work so well though. Like, if you need to add just a little bit of pop to your pastel work, they do a wonderful, wonderful job. You like it? All right, that's cool. Thank you. Glad you like it. The reason why it made me laugh is because I said, damn, looks great. It's like, oh, okay. That's cool. So anyway, gonna do the side grass here. There's gonna be some side grass, and we're gonna put that onto here as we build up some of these colors on the side. And see you, Falcon. Yes, I'm out of ink. Yeah, I finished that project. All right, take care, Northern. Thanks for stopping by. The pen has I've been out of ink with the pen, so that project is definitely over. We have finished with that. And I made a video review about it too, which was ultimately the plan all along, was to come up with a reason to talk about the pen, because it is a nice pen. Although the refills, you know, the refill just lasts forever. All right, let's do another photo. A lot of nature photos. So many nature photos. All right, so we're gonna go with this actually. This is nice, and nice green glow here. Start with some orange. Start with an orange base. And yeah, you were here every day. I mean, I think you were even here that day on that stream, but obviously you had to go for whatever reason. I don't have a challenge like that right now that I'm working on. I'm just playing with some oil pastels, aka adult crayons. I don't even think they're adult crayons. They're like child crayons. Because not necessarily adults can use them. But I think the idea that it's oil makes it feel more like something that an adult might work with, but you know what? It doesn't matter. So, leaving down a base layer here. Alright, that's my base layer. The other side is going to be a bit more of a lighter orange. So just use this one. Got to keep track of the colors that I've been using. The other side's going to be a lighter blue. So let's go with like a light blue on this other side here. Yeah, hey, no worries. Nobody knew when that pen was going to be done, because I definitely didn't. That pen just kept going on and on. And it could still go on and on. Because I have five other of them. 5 more refills to finish. So I don't know if I'll ever get to it, but I don't know if I'll ever finish them. Maybe I will. Maybe I should make it a YouTube series. Like, hey, let me just draw until all of this ink is done in 6 refills. I mean, I know exactly how long it's going to take. It's going to take about, what is 5 times 44? So 5 times 40 is what? 5 times 40, 80, 160, 200? 200 plus 5 times 4 is 20, so 220 hours. There you go. You're the unluckiest person ever. Okay. How so? What makes you the unluckiest person ever? I feel like if you actually were competing for the trophy of unluckiest person ever, I doubt that you would actually lose, honestly. I don't think that you would win that award. Ah, your friends and family say you're unlucky? That's not nice. Well, I'm going to tell you now that you're the luckiest person ever. So if people's words are enough to dictate how lucky or unlucky you are, well, allow my words to balance them out. I don't know if it works that way. What do you think? Can you negate years of unluck that people have said by telling people that by negating it with other words? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Have you ever read a book called Candide? Candide, Candide. It's a very famous story, and it's basically about the unluckiest boy named Candide. Might be worth the read, because if you're feeling unlucky, that is a book that will make you feel lucky. If you need a book that's like, am I really that unlucky? That's like a book where if you read it, you'll be like, okay, my life ain't that bad. It might suck right now, but it really is not that bad. And you might even be able to read cliff notes on it. But there's like so much that happens to that guy that you'll be like, all right, life ain't so bad. It's actually pretty good. And from here, I think really I've had the opportunity right now to really blend some of these colors. And let's go with like a nice bright yellow right in the center here. I'm going to go with a dark yellow. Actually, we're going to go with a dark yellow. So in the end, we still live. Yeah, I just living is nice. But, we're human beings. We don't just want to live, right? We want to thrive. I don't necessarily agree with the philosophy like, oh, if you're alive, then you've had a good day. Like, I know some people need that. And, some people hear it and they think, yeah, oh, great. Like, yeah, I'm alive today, so I have my health. That's great. But, I think the true, as human beings, we all want to thrive in the best way possible. And that, to different people, thriving means different things, right? Like to some people, thriving means just being alive. So maybe, I'm kind of contradicting myself there. And to other people, thriving means having $1 billion in your bank account and, $20 million in assets just lying in your home that can easily be sold off, and like a family where everybody's successful and happy, and you have to have like a horse and be the richest person in your neighborhood. That's how other people think that they have to thrive. I guess, right? I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of just blabbering about random stuff. That's the one thing that's hard about streaming. If you ever want to get into it, is you have to be able to like talk about random stuff for hours. If you stream for hours, if you only stream for like, you know, a few minutes at a time, it also helps if you have like lots and lots of people asking questions and stuff, you know. But otherwise, for the most part, I pretty much make stuff up on the fly. So anyways, life according to Emmett. So what do you think, Amir? Has your do you feel luckier today? Do you truly believe that our conversation has increased your personal luck? If you seek something lucky to happen sometime tomorrow, and you're able to open your eyes to how lucky certain even simple things can be, I think that you will find that you are very lucky tomorrow. Like a fortune cookie. Do you have fortune cookies in Turkey? Do y'all use that? I don't know if people use fortune cookies. I mean, I'm sure Chinese restaurants, like I know Chinese restaurants in China don't use fortune cookies. All right, let's smooth this baby out. Similar cookies? How so? What do you mean by similar cookies? Oh, you mean fortune cookies? Yeah. Sometimes I go on and I like totally forget what was just talking about. So cookies, fortune cookies. That's it. Yeah. How can I forget? All right. Let's go with something a little bit redder, more pink around the outside here. Just pink it out a bit. This is not going to work. Need a different pink. little smaller. But have you been to America? I know you said you're from Turkey, but oh, you never been? Yeah, America's overrated anyway. Just kidding. I love America, but yeah. I think enough people have an idea of what America looks like simply by like watching TV. But unlike, other countries, I don't really know enough about like what Turkey looks like. I've been to China, but I know very little about Turkey. I don't think I can name a single movie that takes place in Turkey off the top of my head. Yeah, I guess America really is expensive for any outside person to want to go visit. I was thinking the other day, you thought I was Japanese when the first time you joined my streams. Is that because I'm an artist? I don't know like too many Chinese artists that like stream a lot. I think usually the majority of the Chinese people who live in like China they don't have access to all the same social media platforms that we do. But yeah, I definitely want to visit Japan too. That's one of the things I'd love to do as well. Japan is one of those countries that like I've never heard anything. Anyone who I've ever known that's like visited there, no one has ever said it's like a bad experience. Like, I've had people go to like France, Paris, and I've heard them say, "Oh, well, everybody there smokes," or they have something to complain about, or like, it's super expensive, which is common, but people have I've heard people going to China, and they complain about China, or people have complained about going to other countries, and they'll say this or that, but rarely, I don't think I can name a single time where I've ever spoke to somebody who has had something that's negative to say about Japan. Trying to find some good colors to blend in with this right side here. Hey babe, is this the same fruit smoothie from the other day?
What?
Is this the same style of fruit smoothie from the other day? I haven't drank it yet.
Yeah. Why? Sounds like you said fruit smoothie.
Oh, it's not fruit smoothie?
No.
Oh.
Just like the other day, it's
It's really good.
chocolate protein shake, banana, some ice.
Oh, my chocolate protein shake?
No, I have one.
Oh, really?
I didn't know you had chocolate.
Well, that's that big tub of containers chocolate.
Is it? I don't pay much attention to yours. Lean Mister? No. Oh, it is chocolate. No. Mine is superfood plant protein.
Plant protein? That's good. So here we go. I'm gonna. So what should I draw here? I'm gonna paint into this area. So I'd like to increase my art endurance, and what I mean by that is be able to create art for longer periods of time. So that's part of why I don't necessarily have a thing that I want to do, like a specific subject matter right now. I just want to be able to push my push the limits of my own endurance for drawing wise. I'm younger than I look. Yeah, I'm 34 years old. 3-4, the good old 3-4. Last year I was 33. Can you believe that? Times change quick. All right, so some progress here. For whatever reason, everything, all the pictures that I get are like it's nature. But here's what we got going on so far. Something somewhat surreal with oil pastels. I don't know where this is gonna go. It's just a collage of different pieces coming together. Ooh, and this is a good opportunity to use some of the gold paint that I have. The gold paint. So let's go like this. My goodness, these oil pastels are really expensive, but they create such a nice color here. Thanks, Amir. Appreciate you. Maybe one day you'll own a piece. I can imagine shipping to Turkey is quite difficult. Or maybe you become my art distributor one day in Turkey. You know what you can do is you can source art to hotels. I just discovered this, but this is like a some companies do this. Basically, the company will source a bunch of art from all sorts of different places. and when they source the art, hotels, like a hotel or something, will go to that company in the search of art for all of their hotels. So if you know anybody with a business like that in Turkey, hey, maybe we can figure something out. Was it you that said you're from Turkey? Or, I don't know, I think Northern said he was from India, you're from Turkey. You are from Turkey, right? Right on. So how do you like Turkey? Are you you plan to live there forever, or is there something somewhere else you'd like to move one day? When I get famous, I already am famous, Amir. You know who I am, right? I had to send, so I was on Facebook the other day, and by other day I mean like a couple years ago. Uh, I was talking about, I made a post about like different celebrities, and a friend of mine who's like a motivational speaker, like a professional motivational coach, he said to me, you know, I was posting about this like celebrity from some movie, and he posted on there and he wrote to me, "Hey, you know what? I don't know who they are, but I know who you are," which I thought was interesting. Like, you know, fame, the only people who are famous, a person can't be famous if we don't know who they are, right? Now, obviously, we define the fame by how many people actually know that person. But if you don't know them, like if there's a celebrity that you don't know the name of, are they actually famous? Like, does it matter, right? And that was really interesting to me because they knew who I am. I know who you are, Amir. And I'm sure there's a really successful artist, a very famous musician or talented person in Turkey that I don't know about. I don't know their name, but I know who you are. So there you go. There's a little motivation for you today. Yeah, Japan would be a nice place to go. I could see myself living in Japan. I still think no matter what country I go to, I would still miss the United States, which is why if you're going to travel anywhere, definitely travel anywhere except America first, because you could fall in love with somewhere else. But I think like if you go to America, there's certain things, qualities that you won't really want to live anywhere else. Oh, let me stand up. All right, see you later.
Okay, bye. Have fun with your art. I'll throw some laundry in.
You will.
Yeah.
Okay.
The garage. Get a chance, throw it in the dryer. Without it out.
Okay. So, well, I was saying something about like. Oh yeah, I was saying something about like don't visit America first because if you fall in love with America, it's hard for other things to compare. But I think Japan is like an exception. Uh, Japan is an exception because Japan is definitely one of those countries where it's very hard to compare to anywhere else, and it's easy to fall in love with, from what I hear. Also, I think I was on the way of saying. I was about to say something. Just lost track of my thought. So what was I about to say? You said you don't know how to get a Japanese citizenship. No, it wasn't. I wasn't gonna say anything related to that. Let's draw a silver ball. Let's draw a gold ball. It's easy to draw a gold sphere when you have the color gold. Yeah, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Japanese citizenship, something. Well, hey, let's share some progress. Fern, what are you doing up there? Cat's on the kitchen counter. So let's share some progress. Slowly building this up, a mishmash of a bunch of random things, and it may or may not go anywhere. We'll see. Let's see how this turns out. Next picture. Let's do a couple of coffee beans. Well, there you go. Yeah, find that. That's cool. I like how you're dream building right now. Developing your dream. That's great. Developing your idea, your vision of a life that you want to create for yourself. Very powerful. And it's great that you're writing it down too, you know. You're writing it down. Use a light toast color. What's the lightest color there? I'm gonna go with like a neutral. Lightest color here is like this tan color, so we're gonna go with a tan. It's okay. That's cool. Look, people say it all the time. You know, parents say it all the time. Hey, you know, or guys say it all the time. I want to find myself a nice Southern girl. I want to find myself a sugar daddy. I want to find myself a sugar mama. I want to find myself a a guy who works out. I want to find myself a woman who knows how to cook, you know? I want to go to Japan to meet a cute Asian girl or a Japanese woman. Or I want to go to Colombia and meet a sexy Latina. You know, people say that all the time. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying you want to find a Japanese woman to marry. It's great. It's great that you know what you want. Person who knows exactly what they want will often find exactly what they want. That which you ask for, life will surely give to you. Yeah, sugar daddy, sugar mama, sugar baby. Anything, whatever. Everyone's got their preferences. So here we go. I'm gonna throw in some white here and go around the edge with my white. Nice heavy white. And can't say I'm too happy with this part of it, but at least there's some transformation. How understanding I am. Yeah. It's a skill built over many years of misunderstandings. If you know what I mean. If you spend enough time being misunderstood or misunderstanding people, you definitely real quickly start to, maybe not real quickly, maybe it takes a while, but you know, you start to find better ways of communicating in a way so that you don't have misunderstandings. Huh?
Look at my phone.
What did you do? What did you do with your phone? Yeah, alright, so let's go like this.
Alexa, set timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
And here we go. So slowly building up some texture for the next part of here. So, Mira, what are the biggest challenges in your life that you like to overcome? Mine is continuing to, and I guess it wouldn't even be a challenge. I just feel like it's a matter of time. For me, you know, growing my YouTube channel. Yeah, for me, I feel like it's not so much about obstacles as much as it is just continuing to do more of what I currently do, which is make art, as well as, you know, doing it on YouTube. So something that I already work on, just a matter of getting it, continuing through it, getting it to another level. Oh my God, my arms are tired right now. Really? All right. So is that's a challenge because you don't know how to. You really, I mean, just out of curiosity, like, you know, is moving to Japan really that big of a goal for you? You really like that country that much? It looks impossible. What, you're 19 years old. You're 19, dude. Yeah, I didn't move away from my home until I was 26. So I went to college and then I went home and lived at home for a few years at 26, stayed in Florida, and I didn't move away from home until I was 26. But you know what? Like, you really need to live in Japan? Like, what other cities can you live in Turkey or whatever? Quiet. You just want a simple, happy, quiet life in Japan. Well, you know what? I think out of all the countries that you could possibly do that in, you find a nice place in Japan. That's probably a great place. Great food, everything. It's really expensive though. There's got to be a place in Turkey that that could give you the same feeling, even if it's not, you know, like a coastal town. I guess is Turkey interlocked? Like, is there ocean around Turkey? I don't know exactly where Turkey's located. Still seeking your life's
My phone.
most.
You're talking to me.
Did you leave it on top of the washing machine?
Bert, you sitting on my phone? Yeah. Where'd it go? Out of here. So weird.
You leave it on top of the washing machine?
No, I looked there twice.
Did you leave it in the bathroom?
I looked there twice. I'm looking a third time. Ugh. Tried to buy a really brightly colored case so that I would see it.
Yeah. Well.
But it's brown because it's the only one I could find. That I liked. Go with that phone.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I'd ask you to call it if you weren't screaming. Ugh. It's not in my bag. It's not in the car. It's not in the garage. It's not up here. I used it just a little while ago.
What did you use it for?
I sent some text messages
Where were you when you sent those text messages?
in the bedroom.
Okay, well, look around on the bed.
That's what I did. I thought maybe Fern was on. She's not.
Covered 3 sides with C's. Oh, okay.
Here it is. I found it. It's by Fern, but it was on a wooden bookshelf that was the same color. So my eyes didn't see it. All right.
Well, Turkey sounds like a beautiful place. Surrounded by 3 seas. That's... So you're no stranger to the ocean. There's some people that live in countries and they never see the ocean. Isn't that crazy? That just blows my mind. In America, I grew up... I mean, that's in America too. Like, some people live in states in America where they never see a tree. I mean, a tree, what am I saying? Where they never see a, they've never seen an ocean. And, I think that's, the ocean is beautiful. The ocean is a beautiful thing. So 3 sides. Oh no, seas you said. Seas, different. But I mean, the seas, so we have giant lakes. I'm guessing the sea is just one. I don't think I've ever seen a sea. Anytime I think of an ocean, I think of a sea. Alexa, what's the difference between a sea and an ocean?
Here's what I found on reference.com. Seas are generally smaller than oceans and are located where land and ocean meet, or are a part of an ocean that is partially enclosed by land.
So, you've heard the phrase, sail the 7 seas. Alexa, how many oceans are there?
There are 5 recognized oceans in the world: Arctic, Atlantic, Pacific, Southern, Antarctic, and Indian. The oceans are vast bodies of water that cover a significant portion of the Earth's surface. Together, they play a crucial role in regulating the planet's climate and weather patterns, supporting a rich variety of marine life, and providing vital resources and transportation routes for human societies.
Human societies. I like how she said that like a robot. Like, this is for human societies. As if it's just not the norm that human societies is what we're talking about here. Alexa, how many seas are there?
There are many seas in the world, although the exact number is not fixed. According to one source, there are 105 seas located in different parts of the globe. These seas play an important role in shaping the landscape and ecology of the areas surrounding them. They also provide a variety of economic benefits, such as transportation and tourism, and are vital for the livelihood of many people.
Sail the 7 seas. I wonder where that phrase comes from. I was gonna assume that there was maybe 7 seas, but there's 7 continents. So that's wrong. That's why you should stay in school, everybody, so you can know all this information. Alright, so sail the 7 seas does not have to do with there being 7 seas. So you said ocean is 10x, so sea is 1x. All right, well that's still pretty nice because I've seen a lake And I'm guessing a sea is bigger than a lake. Like a major, America has these things called the Great Lakes. So they're lakes that are like enormous. Like when you see them, they just like they look like oceans. So I'm guessing a sea is bigger than a lake. Alexa, what's the difference between a sea and a lake?
A sea is a large body of salt water that is mostly landlocked, while a lake is a smaller body of fresh or salt water that is confined by land. Seas are generally larger and deeper than lakes, and they are connected to the ocean, while lakes are usually smaller and often shallower. Additionally, seas tend to have a wider coastline and may have a more complex relationship with the land, while lakes tend to have a more isolated and internal relationship with the land.
Ah, we're learning so much there, aren't we? Alexa, what's the most famous city in Turkey?
From chasingthedonkey.com. Without a doubt, Istanbul is Turkey's most famous city, and not just because it straddles both Europe and Asia.
Istanbul, huh? Istanbul, Turkey. I mean, I've definitely heard of Istanbul, but I don't think I can name a single picture of Istanbul. Like, I don't know if I've seen a single picture of Istanbul. I mean, I would ask you, but I don't want to bombard you with every random fact question that Google can answer. I'd rather ask you more important things, like what are some things you want to achieve in life? One of my mentors has always said, don't ask questions that you can Google. If you can find it on a search engine, don't ask the question. And while I disagree with that for the most part, because sometimes it's just way easier and quicker to get a straight answer right away, but I get the sentiment. Amazing quote, yeah. Right on. All right. So we're about halfway done with this stream. It's been almost 2 hours. So I think I'm about halfway done. What is this? This looks like about halfway, right? I would say maybe a little bit more than halfway. I want to fill in all the space here. I want to fill in all the space. So I would say maybe like 3/5 done. Pretty much like 3/5 done. All right, so let's see. We're gonna bring this down. And what's going on, Sophie Smith? Hey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Just continuing to build up some ideas here. What brings you around? That's something I can't Google. Is what brings you here? What has prompted you to want to stop by and join our conversation? And you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a black and use black. And we're gonna go. I really do love the color black. And I used to get a lot of advice from the internet about how to like draw and paint. I find it so funny that one of the most common advices that you get is don't use black, don't use black. But I am fascinated by the color black because there's just like it's like one of those colors that just it's so impurely pure, you know, because black is the presence of like all colors, right? Just mixed together in its most darkest form. Any color could become black if you darkened it. I just find that so fascinating. And you know, there's so many different blacks, like even, you know, shades of black. Okay, here we go. I feel like Sophie Smith has been here before. But you only kind of like jump in just to tell me how cool I am and then you leave. But if you ever do watch this part, thank you. Philosophical colors, pitch dark and pure white. Yeah, exactly. A lot of philosophy there. Strategy or diploma got like strategy or diploma. Yeah, strategy or diploma, yin and yang, good and evil, life and death. Success and failure. Black is a wonderful color. one thing I really haven't figured out yet when it comes to oil pastels is uh, how to lay down colors in an area without scraping off, or how to like effectively like lay down colors. Like with paint, if you let it dry a little bit, you can just paint right on top of it. But with oil pastels, you pretty much like carve, and it's like a series of just like carving different areas out so that you can lay down another color. You know what? Let's go add this sun, and we're gonna bring the sun around. All right. And here we go. I'm definitely getting a little bit tired, but let's keep making this happen. We're gonna push through this and just keep going through this tiredness, because part of what I'm doing is just, I think it's important to build up your creative endurance, not in the sense of like constantly working till burnout, but really just being able to build your ideas and like help yourself keep going for the long term artistically. Because here's the thing is I often think like, oh well, some people can, hey, you take care, Amir. Good to see you, good to chat with you. Feel free to come up with a come up with a made up story about your life that you can come tell me next time. You could lie to me. Tell me a made up story. And I'll believe it. See, here's the funny thing about the internet, right? You and I, we don't know each other in person. I don't know anything about your life. When you told me that you dream of going to Japan, I have no clue. You could have told me you dreamed of, going anywhere, and I would believe you. I mean, I would say I believe you, but I wouldn't necessarily, I might not necessarily believe you. But hey, come back with a fake story next time, or a real story. Share it with the world. Well, come up with a real story. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, take care, Amir. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next episode of this. So let's see. I'm gonna keep going with this and trying to think how I can incorporate this part into my drawing. So let's do here. What part do I want? And give that a little space. And then we're going to come around and do another one here. And here we go. So working through this. Drawing that we've got right now. Let's go across the top here. We're just going to do a line across the top. Let's add a variety of colors into this baby. I think the best thing about oil pastels is the blendability of it, but you really have to like really got to be comfortable constantly switching colors. And here we go. So we're going to go around the side here. And drawing through. So there's like this cathedral thing that I'm working on right now. It's like looks like a cathedral pretty much. So is this the blue? Yeah, this is a lighter blue, a lighter shade of blue here. You can draw that in here and give it a look of two separate shades. Okay. Let's bring in some purple. Purple is a color that I haven't really used enough here. So we're going to start by painting over this area with some purple. And here we go. So And we're gonna go, I will share some updates here in a few moments, but for now, really just want to knock out this one portion that I've been working on the past few minutes. So we're gonna go across and do a darker color of blue. I think this area down here needs to be pretty much darkened. And I think we'll give the idea of bricks rather than actually painting the bricks themselves. So that's what we're working on right now. Let's do this. So let me share a little bit of update with y'all. Here's what we got so far. Working with oil pastels. So this is pretty much, and I actually like this way this looks. Up close it was a bit confusing, but it kind of does look like a some sort of building. But basically what this is this is a big what do you call that? It's not a collage, right? It's just a big compilation of like all these different images that I've been looking at. And I'm just slowly putting them together, creating a single image out of them. Let me use the real black. So this is a super dark blue, I think. What do they call this color? Let's see. This is called a Prussian. Oh yeah, this is the Prussian blue. Okay. So I've been using a Prussian blue rather than a black. But right now, I'm going to go in with some black and create some shadows here. Let's make some black shadows. It's good to add a little bit of black into your drawings. When you're using black, you got to be bold with the use of it, because if you're not, if you're too timid with your black, it could definitely go the wrong way for sure. So if you're too timid with it and you use just a little bit of black, like it's gonna influence the area around it a lot. So I feel like black is one of those colors where if you're gonna go for it, you just gotta go for it. You can't, sit around hoping that it's gonna look okay. Especially when you're working on like a very colorful piece and you're finally going to some of the shadows with black. And I'm realizing right now I should work on my left side of this drawing and knock that out, because otherwise I'm gonna have so much. So much on this side that my hand can't rest, and that can be annoying. So we're gonna start with an orange along here. Let's go with the orange. I'm gonna go across with this. This is what is this? What is this orange? This is a US 10 bright yellow. Oh, it's a bright yellow, okay. Looks like an orange to me, so I'm just gonna call it a bright yellow orange. And we're going to make it a little bit redder around some of the edges here. This red is probably a bit too powerful for what I need. And then let's blend this in with a little bit of our bit of gray. Let's go with a little bit of gray here. We're gonna work in some more colors around here. So throw in some of these grays into our water, and we're gonna see how this ends up blending together. I'm still fairly unfamiliar with the best techniques for working with oil pastels. Now I'm just going to color this entire area with the gray. This is going to be our base color from which we build upon. And here we go. Just giving a nice base layer of gray here. And from there, we'll get to work on something else. We'll get to continue on. And let's see. So we're going to add some darker blues around here. Some little wave-like areas. Filling in some of our spaces with our blue, and maybe I'll just go up and color this whole thing. And there we go. Give it some gray, and we'll give this red like a nice white silvery glow. Like a sheen. My arm has never been this tired doing artwork, except for maybe the time I was working on using up all the ink on a pen. Let's give a little update here. Filled in some space. Filled in some space right around here. So I'll share a little bit of some details about what I saw. So I started with this field of grass. I wanted to just create the bottom layer, and then there's this other photo of a road going through a forest, and I thought that would be an interesting way to cut through this image. And after that road through the forest, it's interesting how I can remember every single piece in order, I think. After the road that cut through the forest, there was a bunch of trees. Oh yeah, I think these trees actually came from that road in the forest. And then right after that, I had this image of it's basically like a rocky cliffside. So I worked with that, and I think I spoke too soon because I forgot what came next. It was either this part or this part up here. I think it was either this part no, it was definitely this part up here. It was a large like sky scene. So I just decided to turn that sky into, but it was really cool because the sky was like red on one side and blue on the other. And I don't know if that was editing or on purpose, but we went ahead and took that to create this like this space here. And from there, there's an interesting road that kind of like just totally right in the center line of a road leading to this massive mansion slash estate. And after that, we worked on this piece right here, which was actually a door. This is actually a door with the window and then a coffee. I put a coffee shop, a little piece of some photos from a coffee shop in the background. Knocked out some coffee beans. Threw on this building right here, which was basically the center of New York. A tree came in somewhere, a light came in somewhere, and a building. And we're continuing to go from here. So let's see what else. Let's fill in another space. Ah, here's a good one. People. Filling in the space with people. So we're going to throw 3 people here. And there we go. Who are these people? The mystery. The mystery of these people. Leave some stuff for suspense. So, if you're in here, feel free to ask questions, jump in a chat, share a thought or an idea, anything. And as we're continuing to build on, I'm building into these other places here. So, if you're just tuning in now, the reason why I named this title something to do with crayons is because a little while ago I'd done this. I work with oil pastels. And I did this drawing. I did this drawing at work at one of my gigs with crayons. And with these crayons, or sorry, what am I saying? I did a sketch of people with oil pastels, and they had asked me if they were crayons. And I said no. Like I got defensive. I wasn't like offended or anything, but I got defensive. I was like, no, they're absolutely not. They're oil pastels. And I thought it was so funny that that I would feel the need to defend the idea that they're not crayons, as if crayons are not something an artist would use, which is totally bogus, right? Because artists would definitely use crayons. Why not? Um, and that's why this stream had the title to do with crayons. I just felt it was amusing that like it was unnecessary to feel defensive, very unnecessary. But can't help your emotions, right? Artists should use whatever medium they feel is best for what they need to achieve. That's that. No debate. So here we go. Working with continuing on with these colors going around here. One thing I like about oil pastels, you can really carve into anything that you're drawing and give it like a nice clean outline. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through different areas and giving them like working with some outline textures here. Cleaning up some of the edges. All right, people, so I've got like one more section to go. Got pretty much one more section to go with this piece, and basically just this upper left quadrant right here that we're gonna work on before we take a little break. But we're definitely gonna come back at a later time today. So let's see. This is an interesting one. So this is a lone figure standing on blue. standing in blue. So we're going to go like this. Okay, and here we go. So we're going to start with a layer of light orange. I'm going to go with the layer down here. And then we're going to move quickly into a lighter yellow. So let's go ahead and quickly do that. No dilly-dallying. And then we're going to move quickly into a very light yellow. I think right around here is where it changes color, so that's good spot right here. It's a good spot. And from here, I'm gonna go. We're gonna start to blend in like a light blue. Let's go blend in this light blue here. We want this to be like a light white blue, so let's go a little bit higher with this blue. And then we're gonna blend it in with some white. And as we start to blend this up, we're gonna go with a light dark blue. And then the darkest of blues right at the top here. So working in the darkest of blues up here, right at the top. We're actually gonna blend this down a little bit further, just to create this gradation of blues. And now let's use our white to take this all together. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use another color to kind of bring this all together, to sync this, to make this a cohesive. For that color, We're using this. And here we go. We're done with this one project for today. Let's do this. And in a couple days, we're going to be updating the format of our video. But for now, just playing with oil pastels. This is just a little experimental, doing a whole bunch of different things into one painting, or one. I guess this is oil pastel, so we call it painting, right? Painting is just adding colors to a surface or something, usually with a brush. But we're gonna take a break from here. Those of you that tuned in will, or that are here now, thank you, and we'll be back at another time.